Welcome back to another week at Granja Caimito in the Pedroches Valley in Andalusia, Spain. This is the first week of June 2021. Our efforts to grow forage for summer have paid off a bit. I'll show you the details in this video. And there is a little twist as well. Unfortunately, Juan had a little accident, and the guys had to drive quickly to the hospital. I found the horses outside. It wasn't difficult to tell these horses to please come back home. The next day, I found something else.
Hey, Egelwim, kom her.
The dogs wanted to go chase him, but I told them not to. Cows from the neighbor had seen and smelled our developing summer pasture, as I anticipated. Some immediately left when they noticed me, while others were a bit unsure about what to do. Let's see what this one will do. Our fence is off because our cows are in a totally different area. For those watching one of our videos for the first time, the perimeter fence is in bad shape, and the neighbor, who is a tenant with a lawsuit pending as the owner wants them gone, is not willing to do anything. So fixing the fence, which basically means building it new, falls to us if we want the problem solved quickly. Yes, Oliver, you are right. This sheep is not supposed to be there. Let me get it. If I were to let the dogs help me, then this ram would not survive the encounter. These dogs protect their turf, and any animal they see, they will hunt down. They are definitely not herding dogs, but are good guards. Now that I got the sheep out, I can have a look across the fence. These cows also belong to the neighbor. The area is below our wannabe food forest, where there's always some moisture. What grows there at the wall they don't seem to like, but the plants like the moisture coming from upslope. I walk back to where the easement crosses our land, and what do I see? Again one of the neighbor's cows inside A14, where the Bermuda grass has growing so well. Across the driveway, there's more of it, and there are more of them. They were here yesterday and have come back. I can understand they are hungry, as on the land where they should be, there isn't much forage left. I should probably be angry and spring into action. But then it's the weekend. The guys are not here, and after all, these cows are doing what any cows would do, and it's good for the pasture, as long as we can avoid this new Bermuda grass being overgrazed. It is really looking good. Their presence is actually a confirmation. We are on the right track with our efforts. For the little bit of forage here, it's also good to not have a whole herd graze, but only those few animals. Our herd of 37, including the calves, is on compost making duty, and I'm taking these 2 bales of straw to them. Here they are, together with the pigs. All this material will serve us well later in autumn when we start working in this area. Sometimes it is hard to remove the baling wire when they won't let a bale stand on its side, and then we find it sometime later. It's the next day, and again I find these cows munching on our Bermuda grass. That is becoming a habit. I investigated, and have an idea how we can electrify a segment of the fence so that it won't be able to come in again. It's a bit of a challenge because our cows had broken a fence post, and as there are other things to do, we have not made fixing the fence in Zone A a priority. But now it is, at least a part of it. These are new plants from seeds that are saved from store-bought wine tomatoes. Nothing too serious, but I wanted to know, and they are coming along well. They will be planted soon. There will be enough time for them to ripen as the warm season is usually pretty long. This afternoon, actually around 8 p.m., I went to Zone E and installed this electric fence there. Last year during summer, our cows jumped the physical fence at a weak spot to get to the forage on the other side. We don't want that to happen again, and so I'm taking precautions. There are two hot wires, up and below, and a negative wire. The wire at the top is to avoid them jumping over, and the two at the bottom will provide the electric shock when they try to lift them up. The ground is dry and not conducive to electricity, so there is no point to install a ground rod. Instead, one uses a ground or negative wire, and that will close the circuit when an animal touches both. No grazing happens at the other side, and the ground is moist due to a seasonal creek. This is my little temporary installation. Everything is where it should be. And there's the energizer, a solar panel and a battery. Of course this is all loose and anyone could move it away, but the cows know that this is not to be touched, so I don't expect any problem. I also cut and rolled in some of the fencing wires that we had installed earlier to create large temporary paddocks in order to let them forage, ration per ration up here. Now they can follow the path down into the valley. This is a little detail that I wanted to share. Installing an electric fence properly can be a bit of a science. We were told by the supplier of the material that this is the correct way to connect the wire to a gate insulator. Just like water, electricity cannot flow when the conducting material is bent too much, and this way prevents that. It's almost dark now, and here's my result. This is a gate that will eventually form the entrance to another animal pathway. Far in the background is the swale with the palovnia trees. The white fence posts to the right mark the trajectory of the future animal path. We have to wait for the autumn rains to be able to set the fence posts. On my way back, I decided, despite it's already sunset, to check on the horses that are grazing along the driveway and at the creek. This vetiver here took a while to get started, but now it's coming up. And here they are. What grows here is a mix of different grasses, but there's also some Bermuda grass finding its way up to the drier parts. This whole area is basically as we found it when we bought the land in late 2017. We added the solar panels for the well pump and fenced it off at the tree line. At some point, Sakahawea and Tuscarora always want to come over and say hello. The other two, Solo and Librada, are less people-oriented. Well, it looks like the car passed the inspection. And now these two are attending some house matters, grooming each other. The next day, I was taking a break from my other work and wanted to walk around a bit. And what do I find? There are these cows from the neighbor again. Like I said before, it's not really a problem, as it doesn't matter which cow grazes, as long as it's not overgrazing. These animals have to eat too, and their presence is a nice confirmation that we have managed to have some green forage at the end of June, while around everything is already dry. But it becomes a problem when they are damaging infrastructure. Angel is still on paternity leave for a few more days, and so there was only Juan doing farm work while I was busy with my other work, which ties me to a desk and a computer screen. The damage isn't substantial. The wires can easily be put onto the insulators again. The whole system is off because our own cows toppled an important fence post, and fixing it is a bigger job. As they are not coming back to this area for a while, working on the fence is not a priority. But now I want to see these cows get out of here. Let's see what will happen. You see how she lifted up the lowest wire? She seems to know perfectly well that she's not supposed to be here. That was a very nice jump. She has some experience doing that. And see, now she's looking back. Let's have a closer look and see how we can fix this so that they won't come back in. As you can see, the physical fence is basically non-existent. That is the problem that we have with that neighbor. Those wires worked well before, but now they have discovered that the fence isn't hot. An electric fence is a psychological barrier, and some animals test it every now and then. There are two more to kick out of here. They are looking and definitely know what's up. I need to take the long way around, which gives me an opportunity to show you a little bit of the Cinedondactylon that is going here. I can definitely understand why these cows are coming over. Over time, this will be our summer pasture. They were eating well here. Last year, we did not have this amount of Bermuda grass. Of course, it will take time to cover the whole area, but you can definitely see it is spreading. I'm now going over there and will kick these two out. And then I need to go back inside and continue with my other work. While Juan is planting vetiver between the tomatoes. This is going to be one row of vetiver and one row of tomatoes. When the vetiver grows too big, we will cut it for mulch. The slips Juan is inserting are from a plant harvested a bit further to the right, where we have a trench that's always carrying water. That one plant gave us 50 slips. You can definitely call this the cow invasion video. But this is going to be the last time that I need to talk about this, because the next day Angel will be back and I reserved some time to help him so that we can fix this problem and electrify the fence bordering the neighbor. A little bit of water would make this Bermuda grass grow and cover much faster. That is our challenge. We don't get any rain or just a few drops for a period of 4 months. My assumption is that this Bermuda grass will create ground cover and harvest some moisture during the night by way of condensation. It's said to be very efficient, and that moisture might be just enough to keep it going. Of course, right here, next to the seasonal creek, it's a bit easier. I don't know why this cow has to wear a chain around its neck. They used to have a bull, and they put a chain on it. But now it's a cow, and I have no idea why. They have some 50 cows and calves over there, but it's only those few that are smart enough to venture out and find this spot. It is certainly looking like a carpet. And keep in mind, I'm showing you this after those cows have grazed here for a couple of days. Those white flowers are also said to be a thing that shows up during summer. Again, I don't know the name, but those are the summer flowers, as people say around here. I'm not chasing them, but somehow these cows decided that now it's time to go back. But then, as I said, tomorrow we will solve that problem. And today was the last day they will be able to do this. Let's go to our wannabe food forest and see what watermelons are doing there. There is one, but it looks like the birds have already been at it. Let's have a closer look. Yeah, they have picked at it. But it's still looking good. Let's hope it will continue to grow. And there's another one. I may have mentioned this in another video before. We only cleared the immediate area where we planted the watermelons and left everything else undisturbed. The idea is to keep the ground cover for as long as possible. I assume that the watermelons eventually will cover that area with their own leaves. Now we are up at the zone where we had the second swale duck and planted those palovnia trees. It is the end of June now, and they were planted in mid-May. They are definitely starting to look big, the fastest growing tree in the world. Let me show you one up close. Back at the vetiver tomato patch, the pasture grass that went to seed and dried out has started to regrow. It's not the heat alone, but mostly lack of moisture, why Andalusia is looking like a desert in summer. Shade and humus, that is what we need to figure out. It's the weekend again, and what do I see from our kitchen window? Those are our cows walking down the easement. They let themselves out and have been walking down the easement and towards the seasonal creek. Before bringing them back, we wanted to know what happened, so that we don't take them to a place where they won't stay. There used to be some hot wires to keep them from entering the corner with the temporary wire mesh. Apparently the wires weren't hot anymore, and the quarrel for water added to the problem. At least now it is our cows that get to taste the Bermuda grass, and that is a good thing. But as they are not supposed to be here and there isn't much food either, which would mean overgrazing, we are now going to round them up and take them back. This one here took the wrong turn, but is now going back to the herd. Initially it looked like that all will be in A14, but it looks like there are some that have found their way back to the easement and are now going back to the entrance to the farm next door. So then it's probably easier to get them all out and into one place. And once we had them all in one place, between the two of us, it was then easy to send them back over the easement to the place where they are supposed to be at. And here they are. I was able to bend one of the fence posts back up and tie the wire mesh to a post, so that it looks more or less erect, and that should keep them in. Nothing happened overnight, and the next day they were grazing now in our zone E, which is the part that has less animal impact of all our land. The stone structure there in the foreground is the top of a shallow well. It's about 8 meters deep and it's full of water. We need to figure out what to do with that in the future. Let's watch them graze. signs of erosion are clearly visible. There isn't much grass here. But even here, some Cynodondactylon Bermuda grass is trying to make its emergence. Thank you for watching. That was the end of the month of June 2021. I see you soon next week. Bye bye.